sorry," I told her through my tears. Then, I turned and ran back to my car. After I got home, I removed my bloody clothes and stuffed them into a black garbage bag. Even my socks and underwear were soaked. I hurried to the shower and began vigorously scrubbing the blood off my body with hard brushes and even steel wool. The puddle of blood I had been laying in soaked through my clothing and covered me completely, covering every part of my body in blood. After I finally felt comfortable and clean, I went and sat by my bedroom window to think clearly. My window provided me a beautiful and calming view of the valley. I needed to try to relax as much as I possibly could so that I could process the events of my horrifying night. Although I didn't know if I would ever be able to cope with the fact that I had murdered a girl, even though I didn't have any control. I don't deserve to go to jail for this, though. So I knew I had to cover my tracks. As much of the thought of going back to that cellar terrified me. After nightfall, I drove back to the same trailhead, but parked with the back of my car right beside the woodline. I had covered the trunk space in plastic and 50-gallon garbage bags. My backpack now contained duct tape and 2 gallons of bleach. The plan was simple. Get in, bleach the body and knife, bag the body, and dispose of her in a random dumpster. No body, no DNA, no murder charge. I reluctantly but discreetly followed the same path to the cellar. The woods did not provide some sense of serenity as it previously had. Now, instead of peace, I felt panic and dread. It made me jump at every last sound. I looked around, paranoid and suspicious of everything. Finally, I was almost at the property. As the entrance came to view, I wanted to throw up just thinking about what I was about to do. After looking around once again to make sure I was alone, I made a quiet but quick run to the entrance. Just as I was ready to make my entrance, I realized the hole in the wooden door wasn't there anymore. In fact, the door wasn't even wood. It was solid metal. I clawed around looking for a way to open the door. There's no handle or lock. In fact, the metal door was welded shut on all 4 sides. I took a step back to realize the cellar looked completely different than it had yesterday. Last night it had been white. Today it was gray. Even the graffiti was different. Instead of the red pentagram, there was a colorful skateboarding panda painted there. I looked around initially thinking I was in the wrong place, but everything was exactly the same. I was standing in the same clearing by the same foundation outline. I was definitely in the same place. I walked around to the back side of the cellar entrance where I received my second mortifying shock of the night. There was the Ouija board, my Ouija board that I had used last night, leaning neatly against the exterior wall of the cellar as if the board knew I would come back. Beside the board sat the planchette. I picked up the board to realize there was even still some blood on it. The blood wasn't even completely dry. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw a light. Snapping my attention back to the moment, I could see someone walking my way with a flashlight in hand. "Hey, this is private property. Get the hell out of here before I call the cops," the man yelled. I didn't need to be told twice. I tucked the Ouija board under my arm and ran as fast as I could back to the car, getting whipped in the face by branches in the dark. I'm home now, and trying to think as rationally as possible in my current emotional state. I've done more research, and that infamous cellar was actually welded shut a few months ago. So what the hell happened to me? I reviewed the footage, which clearly shows me entering the cellar through a broken wooden door and murdering the girl. The footage even showed the correct outside surrounding woods. I've even compared it to existing pictures of the property. It's the same. But how was there a different door last night? The worst part is that the local news has now been broken of a missing girl who appears to have been abducted. I've seen the pictures and I know that it's the girl that Bundy had murdered. Or apparently the girl that I had murdered. Here in my bedroom sits all my evidence. Bag of bloody clothes, bloody Ouija board, and most importantly, a memory card containing the footage of me murdering the girl. Everything I need to know that it really happened. And everything a jury would need to give me the death sentence. I know that. Although it was my physical self that committed the murder, I didn't do it. I had no control. It was the demonic spirit of Ted Bundy himself possessing my body, and I was forced to live the crime from a first-person perspective. The police won't see it that way, of course. So, I'm stuck with two options. I can either destroy all of this evidence and try to carry on with my life, or take all the evidence to the police and turn myself in, hoping a jury rules me insane. Part of me believes that I ought to be in a mental institution anyways. Clearly, I'm not well, and I'm too terrified to go to sleep. What if Ted Bundy takes me again, and I kill someone else? I'm going to take some time to make my decision. But I'm writing this account to tell the truth of what happened, in the instance that I do end up being arrested. I understand that it's hard to believe. I just hope my family and friends do believe me.
For even more from Creepy, including how to submit your own story for consideration, please visit creepypod.com. You can also follow us at CreepyPod on social media and YouTube. All stories told on this podcast are used under license and may not be rebroadcast or distributed without the express prior written consent of the story's author. Please contact us at creepypod@gmail.com for further information on obtaining the rights necessary to rebroadcast or distribute a particular story.